As tensions explode between Iran, Israel, and the United States, global powers like Russia, China, and India are being pulled into the crisis. Airstrikes are intensifying, civilians are trapped, and the world is watching nervously. But the biggest question now is this: could this conflict reshape global power forever? The conflict between Iran, Israel, and the United States is becoming more dangerous every single day. What started as military strikes and political threats is now turning into a crisis involving global superpowers, regional alliances, and millions of civilians caught in the middle. And now, all eyes are on the BRICS meeting in India. This meeting was originally meant to strengthen cooperation between some of the world's fastest-growing economies, but instead, it may become one of the most important diplomatic meetings of the year. Iran is expected to attend, Russia is attending, China is closely watching. And the world wants to know, will BRICS stand together, or will this war divide them? Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi is expected to arrive in New Delhi for the summit. Iran reportedly wants BRICS countries to strongly condemn both the United States and Israel for the recent attacks. But there's a major problem. Not every BRICS member agrees. The United Arab Emirates, also part of BRICS, is believed to be on the opposite side politically. This creates tension inside the organization itself. For years, BRICS has presented itself as an alternative to Western POA, a group that challenges American influence in global politics. But now the Iran-Israel conflict is testing whether BRICS can truly act as one united bloc during a major international crisis. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is also expected to attend the meeting. Meanwhile, China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi is unlikely to attend personally because of major diplomatic developments involving the United States and Beijing this week. Still, China remains deeply involved behind the scenes. Experts believe China does not want to damage its relationship with Iran. According to political analysts, Beijing sees Iran as a very important strategic partner in the Middle East. China depends heavily on energy routes in the region, and while disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz are creating problems for global trade, analysts say China has already developed ways to reduce the impact. But for China, this conflict is not only about oil, it is also about power. Many experts believe Beijing sees Iran as a counterbalance against growing US influence in the Middle East, and because of that, China is unlikely to fully support American or Israeli actions against Tehran. At the same time, the military situation on the ground continues to worsen. Israeli airstrikes have reportedly targeted vehicles and locations in southern Lebanon once again. One strike near the GA area, south of Beirut, destroyed a vehicle completely. Images from the scene showed burned metal, shattered windows, and destroyed roads. This was not an isolated attack. Reports suggest this was already the third strike on vehicles along the same highway in just a few days. And despite a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Lebanon, attacks continue almost daily. The human cost is growing rapidly. On Tuesday, 2 Lebanese paramedics were killed during an Israeli strike. Another emergency worker was injured. These were people trying to save lives. Now they have become victims of the conflict themselves. And for civilians living in southern Lebanon, fear has become part of everyday life. Families are evacuating villages, hospitals are overwhelmed, roads are dangerous, and many injured civilians cannot reach medical care in time. According to reports, only a few hospitals are still operating in parts of southern Lebanon. Thousands of people remain trapped in dangerous areas while airstrikes continue nearby. For many families, survival has become uncertain. And this is where the situation becomes even more dangerous. Because while Lebanon faces growing attacks, Gaza remains in crisis as well. At the same time, controversy is spreading across Europe. Israel has advanced to the final of the Eurovision Song Contest, but several countries and activists are calling for boycotts because of the ongoing war in Gaza. This shows how the conflict is now affecting not only politics and war, but also culture, entertainment, and international relations. Around the world, emotions are rising. Some support Israel, others strongly support Palestine and Iran, and global divisions are becoming deeper every day. Meanwhile, the United States continues to support Israel politically and militarily. Washington says its actions are necessary for regional security, But critics argue the conflict is pushing the Middle East closer to a much larger war, and many fear one thing the most. What happens if this conflict expands beyond the region? Because if Iran responds directly, if Hezbollah becomes more involved, if American forces enter deeper into the conflict, or if global powers begin choosing sides more openly, then this crisis could become one of the most dangerous geopolitical moments in recent history. For now, world leaders are trying to avoid that scenario, but diplomacy is becoming harder, trust is collapsing, and every new strike increases the risk of escalation. The BRICS meeting in India may now become more than just a political gathering. It could reveal how the world is changing. Will countries like China, Russia, and India openly challenge Western policies? Or will divisions inside BRICS prevent any united response? And perhaps the biggest question of all, can diplomacy still stop this conflict before it spreads even further? Because tonight, across the Middle East, millions of civilians are waiting for safety, waiting for peace, and waiting to see what tomorrow brings.